Hi, and welcome back to the channel. Today I would just want to do a little short video on the one thing about the learning curve of Tesla that nobody ever seems to mention. And that is, with getting a Tesla and it being your first Tesla, there is a learning curve. Everybody mentions that. And, it's absolutely true. You do have a little bit of a learning curve, but you seem to pick it up pretty quickly. And, you're kind of forced to, especially once you start driving. But I've noticed recently, just in the past 2 days, a learning curve that I've never seen mentioned. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Alright, so the learning curve that I've never seen mentioned, and somebody probably has, but I haven't come across it, is the learning curve of driving the Tesla for a while and then going back to a gas-powered vehicle. Now, I owned my car prior to this Tesla. I had for 8 years, so I had it a long time. I drove it a ton. I do real estate, so anyone that knows a realtor, you're driving all over the place all the time. So I drove that car a ton. I knew it better than the back of my hand, probably. And just recently, I had to take it, we gave the car to my son. I had to take it to go get new tires. And this was just 2 days ago. And that was the first time I drove another vehicle other than my Tesla since the day I picked up the Tesla. And it's like I forgot everything. And I feel it's more dangerous going back into the gas car and forgetting stuff than it is getting into the Tesla for the first time and learning. Because there were certain things that just kind of were a bit crazy to me. First off, the braking. With the Teslas, you let off the acceleration and the car basically starts to brake. In some cases, depending upon your settings, it brakes completely for you. I don't have it on that setting, but it still starts to brake for you. I only have to touch the brakes. The setting I have on is the creep option. So when I let off the acceleration, the car slows down, and then I put on the brakes to do a complete stop. But I'm basically almost at a complete stop prior to pressing the brake. I just put on the brake to hold it there. For gas-powered cars, anyone that's driving gas-powered cars, which is most people in the world, that's not the case. You either have your foot on the brake or the car is absolutely moving. So the timing of that was way off. I immediately, there's a stop sign right leaving my house right away. And, I was so out of whack. Another one is Tesla's, it's known the acceleration is, phenomenal. It's something you have to experience to even explain it. It has such a fast acceleration. However, it's an extremely, extremely smooth acceleration. Even though it is a fast acceleration, it's so smooth. And, now going back to where I took my old car to get tires on, the day after that, I had to take my wife's car, who I always saw as a very smooth car, especially in comparison to my car. But I had to take her car because with the new Tesla, we got new insurance, and I had to take it to get photos. So I let her take the Tesla to work, and I used her car. Again, always thought it was a smooth car. And I noticed in both cars, at first I thought it was just my old car, and me getting used to it again, but I noticed in my wife's as well, when you hit the acceleration, or the gas in this case, even though I always thought that car was smooth, and I've never thought it as anything other than a smooth ride, it felt very jerky to me. So I must have gotten used to the acceleration of Tesla to now where I'm in a different vehicle where always felt very smooth to me, never noticed any jerkiness to it, that it did feel jerky. So that was crazy. And then, of course, all the controls. In Tesla, we have the drive shift right here on the steering wheel. And, I know some gas cars do have the shifts on the wheel, but most don't. And, when I was pulling out of my driveway and then I went to go into driving my wife's car, I turned on her wipers. It took me a minute to remember. And, that's not a big deal, thankfully. But the braking and the acceleration, jerkiness, that It's not a major deal, of course, you know, but it's still something you got to take into consideration. And of course, there's all the controls. You know, we have everything here. We have the voice control where if it's on the screen and we don't want to reach for the screen, we can voice control anything. So it's just getting to remember the controls. My car that I drove for 8 years, it took me a few minutes. Like, I was hitting the wrong buttons to clean the windshield. And, you know, so it's a backwards learning curve. Again, I don't hear people talk about. Then lastly, the big one is the noise. You know, the Tesla is a very, you know, there's no exhaust, there's no muffler, there's no engine. It's a very quiet ride. Now, my car prior to this was a very loud ride, so it was deafening going into that. And then my wife's car is pretty quiet, and I didn't notice noise too much, but you know, you still notice it a little bit. But yeah, that's it. Just wanted to mention those couple things because I haven't heard anyone mention it before. And please, if you like the channel content, subscribe, check out our other videos, like the video, leave a comment below on your thoughts and anything you've come across. All right, thank you so much.